Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content channel as of late. Just got back from the theater with my brother, who will not be joining us today. He decided to step out for this, and I will be echoing his thoughts on the film as we go along. But just got back from the theater. I didn't anticipate seeing this, but my brother decided at last minute to check this out, so we decided to go check this out tonight, and I have my thoughts. That film that we're going to be discussing today is The Long Walk, which was directed by Francis Lawrence, who you guys may be familiar with, of course, with the Hunger Games films. Directed a bunch of them. I believe he directed the ones with Jennifer Lawrence, at least most, if not all of them. Screenplay by J.T. Molnar and based off of a Stephen King novel, which was released back in 1979. As the story goes, this is set in a dystopian reality, primarily that in the 70s. And what occurs in this alternate timeline is that there is a totalitarian government that is in place following a war that had taken place prior. And in this newfound regime, they have established an event that they call the Long Walk, as the film is titled. And in this, they pick 50 boys to represent each state that they are in. And they must go on a voyage that will last them a couple of days. And there are parameters to this endeavor. They have to, maintain a pace of at least 3 miles per hour. And if they do not maintain that altitude, they do not maintain that speed, or if they choose to take off, or if they choose to slow down, whatever like that, the results is that their life will be taken from them. And what follows from this is that we familiarize ourselves with the group of kids that are within this group, that of Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, Charlie Plummer, Ben Wang, and Mark Hamill being the person that is overseeing these events take place. And as one by one, kids are boys that are fatally taken out until we are met to, with a few. And the film ultimately explores that of dictatorships, but also that of loyalties, because the film takes place primarily within the group of boys and their perspectives on what they wish to do with the money, ultimately the values themselves, which I think is squarely more of what the film is approaching, is this idea of value, and in that, the value of each other's lives, and that the value of what they are seeking. I think that more or less that is what the film is wishing to explore. And in the description of what I just gave, I think that it is a pretty straightforward thing. And to speak positively for a minute here, I think that the true make or break in a situation like this is the performances, because of just of quite straightforward and kind of easygoing that the premise is. You are met with these characters and have to sit with them for a large amount of time, so you have to trust that the performances are going to maintain the interest, and thankfully they do. I think most of them do fairly good. Some of them I wasn't as thrilled by. Charlie Plummer, who plays like this kind of psychotic but also mentally ill type of figure. I felt that he was a little bit exaggerative in his depictions, but the rest of them, David Johnson especially, I thought were very good in their individual parts within this pretty straightforward and cut dry premise. But in that overall description of what I presented, this very simplistic and just straightforward approach, I feel as though that is also what works against the film itself, because it is terribly simplistic, because it rarely lifts itself off of that. To be kind of literal in this description, it rarely lifts itself off of that road that it lays out for itself. It's very, very easygoing to the viewer, and very little is given of much challenge to our characters outside of what is established at the beginning of the rules of just keep moving forward and keep moving this and that. And obviously it plays into the ideas of, authoritarianism, dictatorship, but it's surface level. It's things that are pretty apparent, and there's not, much of a secondary layer to what is occurring. And, in that it is painfully just dry, in some respects. So, and, there isn't a whole lot to it. There was one point to the film where it did, I felt a little energized when our characters actually have to start moving uphill. And I think that at that point we get a little bit of a spark, kind of a little bit more of a beating pulse, within the filmmaking itself. But for a large portion of its time, we are just sitting with the characters and them talking to each other about the things that I just recited, that of loyalties, about values, the things that they cherish, the things that they hold dearly, and their ambitions, what they choose to do with the prize money, because at the end of this, there's also a prize, which is the motivation and also doing this thing, even though I think as they established at the beginning, they are forced into it. But it just doesn't have that depth that it needs in order to feel that the simplicity is warranted. It is simplistic for the sake of being simplistic, but not necessarily to where it feels absolute and it feels meaningful. It just is very apparently so. And I wish that I didn't feel the weight of that simplicity, because ultimately I think that there are good performances there to follow. But it just is held down by that. And I wish that it wasn't as easygoing as it actually was. I wish there was a little more ambition, a little more grit, a little more just risk, to be frank. But as it stands, it's not terrible, but it's not anything remarkable either. It is as it lays its information out to you, and nothing more than that. So, for what it is, it's very okay. But for what it could have done, it could have been a lot more than just okay. So yeah, so there's my thoughts on The Long Walk. I think it's very okay. It's very okay. It's nothing more than that. It's nothing, more innovative. It's just as it is. And as it is, by performances and just by the general interest and intrigue, it's thin in terms of story, but there is life in terms of what is acted. So those are my thoughts on The Long Walk. You guys know your thoughts on The Long Walk if you guys have seen it. Financially, it did well. So it seems to have resonated with the audience. But let me know your thoughts if you guys have seen it, your guys' thoughts on Stephen King, any films of his or any adaptations of his work that you guys are fans of, or books that have yet to be adapted that you would like to see adapted soon. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.